Don't worry about the world coming to an end today. It's already tomorrow in Australia. That's from Charles M. Schulz, the man who invented the peanuts. Let us pray. Be with us today, Spirit, as we come together in this sacred space to share our love with each other. We ask for our guides, angels, and ancestors to gather close to us so that we may feel and know their presence, love, and support. We ask for the higher master teachers to grant us wisdom and insight, and we call you in using the prayer that the Master Jesus taught us to pray. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. Amen. Good morning, everyone. Clearly it's going to be a fun day on the platform because I can't speak, apparently. We'll see what happens from here. Welcome. I'm so glad you're all here with us. As Laura said, we're always delighted to have you. What I wanted to talk, what I thought, I wasn't even sure what I wanted to talk about today. As Laura can tell you, she texted me last night at like 9 o'clock at night and was like, "You are on the platform tomorrow, aren't you?" And I said, "Yes, I am, but I forgot. I don't have any idea what we're talking about yet." And that did not happen until this morning at about 6:30. So, and that's usually what Spirit does with me. So, the more that you get used to your Spirit people and the way that they work with you, you don't go into panic mode the night before you have sermon for the next day. So, I was not panicking. Now I'm panicking a little. What I wanted to talk about was I kept hearing in my head, as I often do, voices, and I kept hearing the little phrase 12 seconds in my head. 12 seconds, 12 seconds, 12 seconds. And so I went out on the internet because, you know, that the internet knows everything. And I Googled 12 seconds. And apparently there's a sort of an internet thing right now, that's going around that talks a lot about the idea that, or not 12 seconds, 12 minutes, sorry. See, I told you, I'm not in good shape up here. 12 minutes. The 12 minutes is sort of this phenomenon on the internet that's going around where people talk about it only takes 12 minutes to listen to someone, to help someone, to hear someone, to sit down and have a conversation with someone. And it's supposed to be something that inspires people to do more of that, and also to remind people that sometimes just something like a small conversation with someone can really make a difference to them and for them. So I thought, oh, that's very easy. That's very interesting. So I started to do a little more research about that, and I came upon some research that actually supports that, which is very interesting to me because, hey, it's science. Right now, some people are not interested in science, but I still am, so I'm going to share it with you. Psychology research indicates that we don't need much time at all to have a conversation with a person, and that conversation can yield significant benefits for our mood, for our stress levels, and for how we think. And multiple studies indicate that even one short quality conversation a day can measurably improve our emotional well-being, which is kind of interesting to me. My husband, of course, who is an introvert and is probably, I would say almost the most introverted person that I know, which, introverts tend to sort of be sapped of their energy when they're in too many social environments or too much social activity. And he said to me, I can't believe you're going to tell people that they should talk to me more. I said, I didn't say it had to be you, but I'm going to tell people this very interesting stuff that I found. In one large study, researchers asked over 900 people to have at least one meaningful interaction, possibly being something like catching up with a friend, or joking around with a friend, or just showing care to a friend during just once a day. And the result of those studies showed that those people ended up feeling happier and less stressed on days when that happened versus on days when it didn't happen. And I guess that sounds logical to most of us. It sounds logical to me, but that's why science is important, because it actually supports these things that we think might be true, but then we find out, oh, those are true. Maybe we should do more of that. Jeffrey Hall, who was a lead author of that study, also noted that it didn't matter what you talked about. Just once was enough to see a positive effect. Though, if you had more conversations during the day with more people or other people or the same person, then that also led to even better days. One reason those kinds of brief encounters that usually last between 10 and 12 minutes lift our mood is that it fulfills a basic human need. And one of our basic human needs is for social belonging. Whether you're an introvert, an extrovert, or someone somewhere in between, we all need social activity, and we all need that feeling of belonging. His work supports the idea that everyday talk helps meet our belonging needs. And then when that need is met, people simply feel less lonely and more content. And to me, that's a really important thing to try to foster. I tell people a lot that I worry a lot about one of my sons who is, I have one son that is currently in a relationship and lives with his girlfriend, and that's great, and they're doing very well. I have another son that lives by himself, and he actually works at home. And so he only goes into the office once a week, and the rest of the time he works at home. And if you've ever been in his house or in his apartment, it looks like a cave, because he keeps it very dark, and he doesn't really open the shades or the windows or any of those things. He likes it dark because he says it helps him sleep better, which I'm totally I'm on board with that. But I worry about him because he doesn't get out of the house very often, and I worry that he's lonely. And when I read this, I couldn't help thinking, oh my God, he needs to know this. He needs to know that just one little short conversation with somebody every day might help him feel good, might help him feel better than he does. And it's not like he ever talks about, I feel bad. That's not what it is. But a lot of us don't talk about things like, I don't feel good, or I'm feeling stressed, or I'm feeling tired, or I'm feeling unhappy. And just having a short little conversation with somebody once a day might help that. And it doesn't need to be about how you feel. It can be about the Reds game last night, or it can be about the movie you watched, or any of those, the dinner that you're cooking, whatever it is. It doesn't have to be anything life-altering to have a conversation with somebody, and to just be in that place of having a face-to-face talk that improves someone's life, and it'll improve yours as well. It shows that we're cared for and that we're understood, basically. I lost my place. And it also means that while texting is very convenient, and a lot of us love to text, I love to text. I love to text with people. I especially love like GIFs and emojis. So you know that, it's me if you get a GIF, on your text, because I love those things and I think they're funny. But of course, most people are probably like, oh God, it's Rose again. But while texting is convenient and it is a way to interact with somebody, it is a way to connect with somebody, Hearing a friend's voice or hearing someone else's voice has been proven to actually boost our happiness and our stress reduction even more. So that interaction, that vocal interaction, and especially seeing someone, so having, even if you call someone, that's great because they're going to hear your voice. If you FaceTime with someone, it's going to be even better because they're going to see you. And there's all these studies that have proven that those kinds of interactions really are a natural sort of stress reducer. Human contact, especially voice contact, triggers biochemical responses that calm the body. It's very interesting to me. For example, one study in young women showed that speaking with a trusted person can lower levels of cortisol, which is a stress hormone, and increase oxytocin, which oxytocin is a bonding hormone that helps us feel bonded to things. People talk a lot about after, especially a woman has a baby, she produces a lot of oxytocin, and that is part of what helps her bond with the baby, is that production of that hormone. So in this experiment, girls who spoke to their mothers or to a friend after a special or a stressful event showed that those healthy hormonal changes happened for them, while girls who only text messaged their friend or text messaged their mom about something stressful, their stress hormones stayed higher and they didn't lower like they did when someone talked to them. So that comforting sound of a familiar voice, turns out it really has psychological and physical effects on us. So a brief phone call can go a long way. If you're anxious about something, you can call somebody and just talk for a few minutes, and it will help calm your nerves. They did some research during the COVID pandemic on these subjects too, when we were all isolated and probably sick of the people that lived in our house with us. But that pandemic reinforced just how powerful a quick sort of check-in can be. In 2021, a clinical study of about 240 older adults, those older adults received very short, regular phone calls from trained listeners over several weeks of time. And each call was usually about 10 minutes long. And the person calling the older person was listening and focusing on listening and focusing on empathetic responses. And the outcome was quite striking. Those who got those calls a few times a week had significantly lower loneliness, depression, and anxiety after 1 month compared to a control group who had none of that. Significantly lower. In other words, a bit of social contact greatly reduces stress and mental health symptoms in a vulnerable group. So a lot of us, as we get older, we might not have as much contact with people, or if we have children, they move away or they're busy with their lives and we just don't have as much contact. So it's another study that shows that there's a hidden gold mine of vitality in our relationships. And that's something that Dr. Robert Waldinger of Harvard University, who is the director of an 80-year happiness study. Can you imagine? I'm spending 80 years of my life studying happiness. That's kind of interesting to me. That's what he commented after seeing those results. So there really is something about tapping into that connection with other people that really can make a huge difference in our lives. And it's important to remember that recent findings suggest that even light-hearted conversations work. So participants benefit, anyone benefits from this, whether you're talking about meaningful personal topics, which are great if you have someone to share those kinds of conversations with, but they're also wonderful if you're just joking around or chatting about everyday things. It doesn't matter. really, in the long run, because the benefits are going to be the same. The key was that the interaction made participants feel heard, and it made them feel bonded to somebody else. And I found that encouraging when I read that, because there's a part of me that always, anymore, because of texting and because we don't have maybe as much social interaction as we did in the past, or when I was growing up, I felt like, I shouldn't always bother my friend by calling them. Oh, I'm probably bothering them. Even if you just call someone for 10 minutes, that's going to make a difference. And sometimes I would put that off because I'd be like, oh, I don't have a lot of time to talk, so I should just wait. Well, actually, you should probably call them and just say, hey, I was thinking of you. Have you got a minute to chat? I just wanted to tell you something, whatever it is. Did you see the Reds game last night? Did you hear that storm last night? Oh my God. Because those few kind words can provide emotional support and lower those feelings of isolation. They also have cognitive benefits in your brain. So some of these things really literally make us feel and think more clearly, which clearly I needed this morning. A study at the University of Michigan, don't boo, you Ohio State fans. A study at the University of Michigan found that spending 10 minutes talking with someone can improve your memory and your attention on subsequent tasks. So, like in the workplace, if you spend 10 minutes on your break talking with someone at the water cooler about whatever, then when you go back to your desk, you're probably going to have improved your attention span. You're going to be more in line or in sync with what you need to do that's on your desk. So to me, that says that we should be having coffee breaks every, hour. But I don't know that, HR is going to go for that, but, you could try. Take the University of Michigan study with you and show it to them. The act of engaging socially stimulates your brain because you have to listen, you have to think about responses, and you have to shift between topics. And that's a cognitive flexibility workout. Hey, did you know you were working out when you're talking with somebody? It's not the same as going to the gym, but hey, it's still working out. Other research shows that maintaining regular social interactions is associated with better overall cognition, and that's across your lifespan. So especially as we get older and our cognitive function does decrease as we get older, doing a chat with a friend is going to help your brain. Anytime you have these kinds of interactions, it's also going to help shift your mental perspective in less measurable ways, but sometimes in more meaningful ways. Because if you're stuck in a mental rut, or you have worries or anxiety or fears, connecting with someone, even briefly, can interrupt that cycle of worry in your head. I have one son that has obsessive compulsive personality disorder. He wouldn't mind me telling you this, that's what I'm telling you. And one of the things that they had to teach him was how to interrupt the loop of thoughts that goes through his head. And we all have that. We all get that loopy thoughts. I'm just thinking about the same thing over and over. But for someone with that kind of a disorder, it happens more frequently. It happens all the time. And so they have to learn how to break that cycle, because that will help them not give into the cycle and become more and more stressed, more and more agitated, more and more whatever it is that is not an effective or helpful behavior. So it works for us too, even if we don't have those kinds of problems, because it does help us interrupt that cycle of energy in our head, and it can provide us with some relief from those worries. Even a short exchange with casual acquaintances can shift your mood and shift your perspective for the better. So if chatting with a stranger can do that, if you're just out at lunch or something and you go and get a hot dog and you chat for a few minutes with the hot dog vendor, that's going to shift your mood and perspective. But if you talk with somebody who's close to you or someone who's a confidant, having a very similar conversation for a similar amount of time can actually help to reset that negative mindset that some of us fall into. As one social initiative put it, simple conversations can create social change by reducing isolation, improving well-being, and strengthening communities. I mean, so that's another reason to do it. So some practical takeaways that they suggest as a part of the studies that I was looking at. Prioritize having at least one real conversation every day. So make it a habit to exchange more than just texts. A 5 to 10 minute phone call or a face-to-face chat with a friend or anyone else can boost your mood and lower stress. Think of it as a daily investment in your mental health, which I never think about. I don't think a lot of us sit around going, I should invest in my mental health. You know, I don't think we do. And I'm saying that in a joking sort of way, but I'm also serious when I say your mental health is really, really important, and maybe we should think about it a lot more than we actually do. Don't underestimate weak ties. And what they mean by that is you don't have to just talk to those close friends. You should also be encouraged to talk with acquaintances or new faces, people that you don't know, because a quick small talk with a neighbor or somebody that you don't know as well at work, or even somebody on the bus, any of those kinds of things can spark a positive mood and reduce feelings of isolation. And if you're feeling that when you talk to a stranger, the stranger is also feeling that, right? They're going to get that benefit as well. Even if they don't know it, you're helping. And quality matters more than length. So when you're having that kind of a conversation, even if it's just for 5 minutes, it's important to be present and to listen and to really be in that moment of sharing with the person. And it might be that you're talking about something like the price of produce at the grocery store. But just having that conversation and really listening to what the other person says, that's not just ticking off that 5-minute time box. That focus is helping them to feel heard. And it's helping you to have quality communication, which helps you cognitively as well as mentally and emotionally. So those are some things that you can try when you go out of here today or after church, when you want to have a conversation, if you want to have a conversation. Hopefully you do. But that sort of making that a priority is only going to help your mental health, our mental health, and it's only going to help build our communities more strongly, which I think we all need some of at this point in our lives. So, something to take with you today as you go about your day. And we'll do a little short meditation now so that we can focus on that. Thank you. So I'd invite you to get comfortable in your chair for a moment and close your eyes. We're just going to focus today on grounding, because sometimes grounding is something that we forget to do. And when we forget to ground, sometimes we become more scattered in our thoughts in our actions. So just take a moment with your eyes closed to breathe in and breathe out. Another breath in and another breath out. One more breath in and another breath out. And as you continue to breathe in and breathe out at whatever cycle of breath is comfortable for you, bring your attention down to your feet, to where your feet rest on the earth. And just imagine for a moment that you're burying your feet in sand at the beach or in dirt in your garden. But allow your feet to be covered in your imagination with Mother Earth. And as you imagine that sand or that dirt covering your feet, feel your feet sinking down into the earth, into that fresh dirt, into that sand, becoming heavier as they sink into that pliable, nurturing substance of earth. And just allow your feet to be held and supported by that sand or that earth. And allow yourself to feel that comfort, to feel that steady, strong, grounding energy of earth. And on your next breath, breathe that energy in from the sand or from the dirt. Breathe it in. You may even imagine it moving up through your feet, into your legs, and all the way up into the rest of your body. Pulling in that grounded, steady, strong earth energy, and allowing that to fill up your whole being. Know that this beautiful, strong earth energy, this grounding energy, can help you feel supported and comforted and strong all through the day, no matter what tasks you have, no matter where you need to be after this, or who you might talk to, whatever interactions you may have, you will remain in that steady, strong, grounded earth energy. So take another breath in and let it out. Come back into your body fully. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes and be present here and now with that steady earth energy within you.